It's been about 30 minutes, but what you're looking for is that. You can tell it's all bubbled up, like there's a thin layer on top of it. That means it did its job, it's rising up, it's time to move on to the next step, okay? So, our yeast is ready. Let's move on. So, there's a couple things we do now. I start off with the flour. Now, it's usually about 4 cups that you want to use. But, like I said, everyone's a little bit picky, or, modifies things to how they want it. I usually start with 3 cups, okay? This is just a start. It doesn't have to be exact. Now, I've found 4 is usually the optimal setting that you're looking for. About 4 cups, maybe a little bit more, but it varies. So while that goes down, we're going to have to add more flour as it goes. But now we're going to add the other ingredients that we need, which is, you want 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, which I have that. Yeah, 2 tablespoons of oil. Okay? So I add that now. And I like to add maybe 2.5, just because it does help keep the bread a little bit moister. Now you're done with the oil, you're almost done with all of the ingredients, okay? Minus the fact that I like to put honey in mine, not a lot, but maybe a squeeze or 2. It kind of adds to the flavor, and this really helps kind of moisten it up too. So I kind of put a drop on it, just enough drops that I know that I got it in there, but not enough to, like go crazy. Okay. So, now that that's going, we're going to let that go, okay? Now's a good time to start our stove. You're going to want to go to bake, and you're looking for 325. So bake at 325. Start. Now you also need pans. We'll get the 2 pans out. Where they're supposed to be. Where am I right now? That's weird. Uh-oh. There. You can use any size you want. These are a little bit bigger, but I find that it fills it up just fine. But I also have 2 little ones that I use. So it doesn't really matter. You might have a bigger loaf if you use the bigger ones. So what we're going to do now is we're going to... Okay. We're going to get these ready. For your pans, you're going to spray them down and coat them with some any non-stick spray will work. And then you're also going to want to flour it to give you a so just spray the sides of the bread pans. Now remember, if you did it right, this should make 2. You have to use it this much. After I'm done with that, I kind of like to rub it in a little bit like this. Because you don't want a lot of it, you just want it to cook. You don't want to overdo it because it can jack up the cooking. Now you want to put a little bit, okay now look. It hasn't been going for very long, but as you can see, it's starting to, like come together, getting a little bit thicker. So I'm going to push the flour off. Okay, now at this particular point, you can literally tell that you're going to need more flour. Okay, because you're looking for the consistency of what dough should be, and that's just not there. I put it the wrong way. Okay, so, but we know that, man, that's annoying. Has that been in the way the whole time? Did I have it upside down like that? Oh shit. It was upside down. No? Why is it just now doing that? Did I push it back or something? Here. Oh, maybe I zoomed in. What the hell is going on right here? I can just figure it out. Oh, is it because this is... Oh. No, I don't think that's it either. We need something a little bit smaller. Hold on while I'm gonna have to slightly modify this. This work right here. So. Okay. Yeah, bear with that. Back to it. That's not quite working the way I wanted it to. And then I had a tripod, which would have made this a lot easier. But of course, like other things, they come up missing in my house. Okay, let me piss me off. I feel like that was working good. I don't know what to do. That might do it. I need to turn it. There. It's close enough. So, I'm going to turn it back on. It's not done yet. But I am going to... Okay, so from how liquidy it looks now, I'm going to add another cup. Okay? And this is going to be going on my 4th cup. Now, you don't want to overdo it on the flour, but you also want it to be the right amount. So after the initial 3 that you do, you're going to want to step back for a minute, you know, and just let it mix for a while. You don't have to do it on a high setting. The low is fine. Like I said, it's a process. It's not done in 5 seconds. So you want it to go a little bit slower, because you just want to make sure it gets, you know, mixed in good. And you don't want to burn out your motor. So I just floured. Okay, so I greased it up and I floured it up. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Okay, pans are ready. Now, while we're waiting on this to do its thing, okay, we're going to want to move on to getting everything ready that needs to be ready. I already preheated the oven. It's going. What you're going to want to do... Okay, now once again, what I'm doing here is I'm not rushing it. I'm just brushing the flour off the sides of the bowl. Okay, that's all. And I'm going to show you real quick. Okay, you can see that the consistency is getting to where we want it. You see? It's not as liquidy now. Right? Well, I didn't mean to do that. So it's not as liquidy now, you know, and you see it's just not falling. I know it's a little hard to see, but you can kind of tell the texture there, okay? Now, it's not ready by any means, but that just means we're getting there, okay? So we'll go back to, get back to work here, put it back on low. We're going to let that keep going for now. It's probably going to need another half a cup from what I'm seeing, but there's also other things you want to do. Now, you're making 2 loaves, but you're going to want to do one big bowl, like any bowl that you have that the dough that you're about to get out of there can go into. You want to spray it down with some oil or something to coat it, okay? Wipe it in like I did with the pan. Now, once you're done with that, this is a grease bowl. That's all it is. I'll show you what we're going to do with that in a minute. Okay? Now, I'm looking for the pan I can use to put over the top, or also this will work too. So, I'm using a long cutting board. Well, actually, I don't think this will fit on there either. I have to double check that. Now remember, you don't want to overmix it either. So make sure you're paying attention to your dough as you're doing this. It's not a perfect fit, but it'll work. Actually, you know what? Let's try this instead. I think this is good. Yeah, this is good. So I'm going to go with the long pin here, and I'll show you what we're going to do about that in just a minute. Okay? You are going to need like a decently sized dish towel or something. Maybe something like this. Alright? Not too big, not too small. Okay, now I'm going to add some more flour in here. It's still about the same consistency that I just showed you, but you can tell it's getting there. So at this point I want to take it easy, and instead of dumping whole cups in here, you know, I'm going to break it down to maybe a half to a quarter of a cup until it gets to that consistency that I'm looking for. Alright? Now if you listen, you can also tell she's starting to work a little bit harder. That means you're getting close. Alright? So I'm going to get this stuff off the sides. Now, what you're looking for here is the dough to crawl up the hook. Okay? Because that means you can handle it. So that's what you're looking for. As a matter of fact, I think we're pretty much there. We're going to let it go for a while though. Don't take it out prematurely. Now, as you can see here, okay, and I'll show you real quick. You don't want to let it stop for too long. But you can kind of see how she's starting to climb. Alright? But it still has a little bit of water to it there. Not water, but you can tell it's still pretty sticky. It's not climbing with no problem. Alright? But it's still mixing. So what I'm going to do at this point, what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to add what I think is the last amount I'm going to need. I'm starting to like the consistency, so now I'll put in about 4.5 cups. I'm going to go with another half, and no more. I don't think you should ever go higher than 6 cups, because then you got a problem. It gets heavy, and it just doesn't work as well. So don't do that. So I'm put the flour up, we're all done with that. I put the oil up, because we're all done with that. We'll be getting to that bowl I told you about here in a minute. You can hear it working now too. Actually, I could have probably done with a 1/4 cup there. But it'll mix. So this is definitely done. I mean, it's done in the fact that we're not going to have to add any more ingredients to it. This is done. Okay. It's done. It's finishing up. You see how it's starting to pull? Now, you can't tell it yet, but it's going to start climbing up the hook. Oh, yeah, there it goes right there. Alright, it's starting to struggle a little bit. There's some flour in the bottom. Now that you know that you've got it, let it finish. You don't have to add any more, but you want to make sure the rest of the ingredients in the bottom of this pan, the bowl, and everything get mixed up real quick. And as you can see now, she's climbing. There's nothing left in the bottom of the bowl. Okay? I'm about to stop that because we're done. Okay, guys. This is where we're about to finish it up. You can see there's no powder left. It's taken up everything on the sides. You know. Now you might, at this point, might think that it needs more because it still looks a little wet. It's going to be a little wet. Okay? And you don't want to exceed 5 to 6 cups. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to show you what we got. You want to take you want to take everything with you. You want to take the dough hook. Don't try to do it inside of it. It's just, I mean, like, don't try to do the next step, you know, with everything in it. Just disconnect it and take it with you. I'm an idiot. There, get to drop it first. Okay, so that's what you're looking at. Okay, I'm going to do it over here. So now you have bread. Well, you have dough. We're working on the bread part. Okay, I can see that. Let me turn that just a little bit. That looks good to me. Okay, so wash your hands. You're about to play with the dough. Okay. Okay. I wash my hands. I'll make sure they're dry, because you don't want to get any extra stuff on that. You know what I mean? So make sure your hands are dried off. All right. And what we're gonna do is, okay, we're gonna peel the dough off the hook. You see how it's stuck nice and clean? See, you can. That's what you're looking for. I'm gonna put the dough hook aside. Now, from the bottom of the bowl, make sure you take all the bread with you. You want to take, well, the dough. You want to get all the dough, because that's your bread right there. You might take a couple swipes here, but you want to get it all. I avoid using anything on your hands. It's going to be a little messy, okay? But as you can see, it's a pretty easy ball. Now you want to work it, okay? I kind of roll it, okay? But there's no right or wrong way to do it. You know, you kind of got to get your own thing. I find rolling it like this, you know, I kind of roll it like a snowball. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this for, you don't want to go too long, obviously, you know, but you just want to make sure it's all, you know, squish it together a little bit, twist it if you want. You know, you want to make it nice and sturdy, like a very strong ball. Now, so I kind of roll it too. You see how I'm rolling it? Try to smooth it out a little bit. What you want here is a nice, solid ball to blow up on you, okay? Now, like I said, you don't want to go too long. Use your best judgment, okay? Because you want to get it into the next step, alright? So don't just play with it the whole time. You know, work it a little bit. Alright. Okay, now, once I think I've done enough, I go ahead and finish it up. I kind of form it into the bowl by squishing a little bit, you know, trying to make sure that it's nice and sturdy, you know, and I might roll it a little bit like this. But what I'm trying to do now is finish it. So I'm trying to make sure it's all together and nice and tight. Okay, now, this is my bowl. It's going to vary, okay, but just do your best, get it done. Now, that bowl you grease, we're going back to that, okay? Also, I kind of try to check for any cracks or anything. Okay, so, go back to your bowl. You're going to put it in there. Bloop. Okay? Don't play with it. Just put it in there. Okay? Now, there's debate on this, so you got to figure it out yourself. I'm going to find something to put over the top that can completely cover it. Okay, this is completely covering it. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take that dish rag I told you to get, right? Mine's this red one, okay? I'm going to take this red towel. I'm going to get it really wet with as hot as you can stand kind of thing, okay? Like this, right? Well, I mean, you want it hot. If you have to put it down in the bottom to get it hot, just make sure that it's hot. Okay. So I'm gonna saturate it with hot water until I'm satisfied that it's full of hot water. I'm not going to ring, actually, you know what? I'm actually going to put it on the other ring, because that's going to work even better. Okay, so I flipped the pan over. And what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to put this on top of the pan, and I'm going to spread it out, okay? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm spreading it out, okay? So it covers the whole thing, okay? Like this, okay? Now, I'm going to leave it there, okay? Now, all it is a bowl with a sheet on top with a hot towel on top of that, okay? It's to kind of help trap in the moisture so it doesn't get too dry, and it should help it rise, okay? Now, to step over what we just did, okay? We finished up the dough. We added flour, oil, a little bit of honey, okay? And that's all of our ingredients. We got it done. And then we let it mix until it started climbing the hook. Usually about 4.5, 5 cups. Never go over 6 cups with the flour, with the unbleached flour, okay? Once it started climbing, we got that done. We took it out. We rolled it up, beat it a little bit, and then we transfer it to the bowl, right? Now, people vary on how long they want to leave this, okay? Personally, I'd wait 20, 25 minutes, and then we'll come back to it. So, this ends part 2, and when I come back, we'll move on to part 3.